Hello, my name is Mario, and today I'm going to be presenting my Toulmin argument. Now, looking at the topic of my essay, financial literacy and how it is a major subject of concern in modern day life. So really, I centered my Toulmin argument around this topic, as one would do, and throughout the entire presentation, I will go over my claim, the grounds I used to support my claim, the warrant, and also some possible objections, along with the rebuttals for those objections. All right, now looking at the actual claim. The overarching position in this argument is that financial literacy forms an indispensable foundation for securing an individual's financial well-being. And before we go any further, it's important for the audience to know what financial literacy actually is. It's the ability of a person to make sound financial decisions based on their knowledge of financial concepts. All right, now to the meat and bones of the actual or entire essay. Why is financial literacy so important? And so for us to discover why financial literacy is so important, we must come to the grounds for the entire argument. And here I inserted the three reasons that I use in my essay. Having a knowledge of finance can help one navigate the increasing complexity of the world, as there are new terms and concepts that are brought into existence virtually every single day. And what I mean by that is, have you ever heard of the 50-20-30 rule? If you have, that's great. But if you haven't, that just goes to show that being able to hold your own when it comes to finance can never be a bad thing. And really what that rule is, it's just a way for you to dictate how much money you have versus how much money you save versus how much money you're going to end up using. It's just a way to create a spending plan, essentially. Number two, there have also been attempts to measure a population's level of financial literacy, and most of the surveys and studies that have been conducted have had a similar consensus. Knowing financial literacy is always going to be a lot better than not knowing financial literacy at all. And lastly, there are possible consequences for those that are financially illiterate. One of them being that an increased proportion of individuals are racking up credit card debt and student loan debt, and their lack of knowledge can actually hinder their chances at becoming a fully independent adult. So just think about it. If you don't know how to budget, if you don't know how to save your money wisely, then how are you going to be able to do all of the other responsibilities that would be demanding of being an adult? Just things to think about, food for thought, really. And so here's where it can get actually a bit confusing with the warrant. So why would there be a claim, grounds, and a warrant? Well, a warrant can be seen as a bridge between the grounds and the claim. It fills in that gap with logic. And in my article, the warrant would be that at some point everyone must come face to face with financial concepts. This is a reality that all will encounter at some point in their lives. And while researching for my warrant, I found many pieces of frightening statistics that I would love to share with you. As seen in the 2014 S&P Global Financial Literacy Survey, only 57% of adults are financially literate. That means that the rest, or 43%, are financially illiterate. And similarly, as Contreras and Bendix wrote in Financial Literacy in the United States, 53% of adults that live in low-income households are financially illiterate. And finally, how have the people that are not financially literate made it so far in life? Well, that could simply be because they're underperforming, perhaps due to their lack of financial knowledge, or maybe even because someone else has been doing their finances for them. Well, regardless of the reason, nobody can avoid finance forever, and if they try to, there may be enduring consequences. And lastly, we're going to be looking at my rebuttal. And at the end of the day, there will always be an opposition to any claim, no matter how well backed it is. This is where a rebuttal comes in. As the author, I must try and anticipate any objection that might arise and provide evidence to shoot it down. And here I provided three of those possible objections. Number one, there are more important things than financial literacy that impact people's life choices. That is simply not the case. Financial literacy is an invaluable life skill that helps you prepare for your future. Number two, financial literacy does not actually make a difference in somebody's life. And to that, I say again, Totally false. Here's why. As Anis Duestanti, writes in his graduate paper, Financial Literacy as a Foundation for Individual Financial Behavior, numerous studies show that financial literacy has a positive correlation with financial behavior. So, the statistics show that the higher an individual's financial literacy levels are, the better their financial decisions tend to be, as would be indicative of anything that has a positive correlation. Going back to that evidence that I provided to you, a positive correlation simply means that when one variable increases, the other tends to do the same. Vice versa, when one decreases, the other variable tends to do the same, meaning it decreases as well. And looking at the last and possibly most challenging objection to refute is that it is unrealistic to expect people to be finance experts. And to that, I have to agree. That is true. But, there is a but here. That is why it is so vital to teach these things to people when they are young. Children do tend to retain things when they, children retain things better, and that's why it's easier for a kid to learn a new language than it is for an adult, for example. And if we can teach children the skills needed to keep up with the increasingly complex world, that would prove to be a very fruitful investment. Professor, I do just want to say thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you sticking around for the entire presentation, and I really do hope that I did not bore you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.